Former Arkansas Governor Mike Huckabee joins us from Little Rock. Thanks for joining us, Governor. I want to get to the debate in a moment, but let's start with your comments on the Iran nuclear deal. The president, you said, was marching the Israelis to the door of the oven. I want to know, has there ever been a modern debate where an argument was won by using a Nazi analogy?
I don't know if a debate has been won, but I know that we are in a very dangerous situation because of the deal with the Iranians. We've just released $150 billion so they can buy conventional weapons from the Russians and continue what is already a very deadly pursuit of terrorism around the world. We got nothing out of this deal, John. I read the whole thing. And my comments, while the president may have called them ridiculous, what's ridiculous is that we would ever trust the Iranians, who for 36 years have vowed that they will wipe Israel off the face of the map and have vowed that they will bring death to America and chanted it even in negotiations. And as a person who has been going to Israel dozens of times over the past 42 years since 1973, and as a person who has stood in Auschwitz for 3 different occasions and understood the gravity of the situation, when someone is saying they're going to kill an entire group of people, we'd better take it seriously.
You say that the administration trusts the Iranian regime, but throughout this, the President and Secretary of State Kerry, plus the other members of the negotiating P5+1, have said they don't trust Iran, and they built this entire deal around the idea that they don't trust Iran. So I'm confused about how you say they do trust them. They've been saying they don't trust them at all. You just don't believe them.
Well, if you don't trust them, how come you give them 24 days before you actually go and do the inspection that you announce you're going to do? How come you allow them to keep their military bases off limits to the inspection? If that's trust, John, and that's the problem with this entire deal. I believe it's a money deal. If you look through, there are dozens of pages of all the companies and entities that are going to have their assets unfrozen. I cannot help but believe that a lot of this is being driven not to secure peace in the Middle East, not to make the world safer, but to make sure that a lot of people with a lot of money get their money back. And that's a tragedy. It's a real sad state of affairs when we put money ahead of national security and security for not just the people of Israel, but all of the Middle East and all of the world.
All right, let's switch to politics. The debate coming up on Thursday. What's that going to be like? Is it a reality show? Is it going to be 10 men standing in close proximity giving speeches? What's it going to be like?
Well, the format only allows for 1-minute responses and a 30-second rebuttal if we're attacked by name. So probably a lot of us are sitting there hoping that we get attacked by name so we get a little more time. The challenge for the moderators of the debate is to divvy this up fairly, make it even. You know, I know a lot of times, and I hear commenters and pundits will say this is a reality show, it's a clown car, it's a game show. But for those of us who have stuck our necks on the line to run for president, it is a very serious business of believing that our country is in real trouble. And we don't stand on that stage because we're looking for an opportunity to be on TV. Heck, I had my own television show before I left it to come do this. So this isn't about ego. It's not a vanity project. This is because we think this country is in real big trouble. And I would say, I think every other of my Republican colleagues on that stage feels exactly the same way. I'm not going to disparage why they're there. I'm going to assume they're there because the same reason I'm there, to make America a truly great country one more time.
You recently went to the AFL-CIO meeting. Why would a conservative Republican go court labor when they're not likely to vote for you?
Well, because I want to be president of all of America, not just the part that agrees with me. One of the things I did in Arkansas when I was facing a 90% opposition that the state had in the political winds of 90% Democrats, I had to work with them. I got 48% of the African-American vote, not because they originally voted for me, but I went to them the day after the election, not the day before. I worked to become their governor, too, and after a while it worked. Here's what a lot of people don't know. 35 to 40% of the members of labor are actually Republican. And I fight hard for working men and women, whether they're in a union or not. But when we've lost 5 million manufacturing jobs and 60,000 manufacturing plants have closed just since the year 2000, somebody better be attentive to the fact that whether a person is a union member or not, a lot of Americans are working really, really hard these days for a whole lot less money than they made a few years ago. So I was glad to go. I was the only Republican that accepted their invitation. Maybe they vote for me, maybe they don't. But if I can get some of their votes, because some of those union members are pro-life, some of those union members, are church-going, gun-owning people that really are philosophically more Republican, except for maybe the political leanings of their union.
All right, Governor Mike Huckabee.